If you want to be part of the solution to this world and all its problems and your own problems, and you really want to resolve, heal, mend, restore, regenerate, not just yourself, but also other people, and perhaps make a dent in the regeneration, the restoration of humanity, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Tara Love Perry. I'm a soul reader and a self-love teacher, and I've been thinking a lot today about consciousness and about if we approach something with the same consciousness that got us into that situation, and we don't have a shift in consciousness, we don't change the way we perceive, we don't change the way we think, we don't change the way we connect with something and understand it, and we come at it from the same old place as always, we're not going to be able to evolve. We're not going to be able to move beyond this place of crisis that I believe humanity is in right now. What's really crucial is understanding our own individual input, our own unique signature vibration, our own level of consciousness that we are bringing to our own lives, to our immediate issues, problems, health, wealth, well-being, relationships, children, families, work, sense of purpose, sense of belonging, mental health, physical health, spiritual health, all of these things. Where's our own point of consciousness at with ourselves? And therefore, what's the impact that we're having on the collective? And can we impact that collective? And I believe absolutely we can by, like I say, shifting that one point of consciousness that you are in the collective. You have a ripple effect. You have a knock-on effect to those immediately in your environment, your family, your neighbors, your friends, and then that ripples out from there. And so the biggest impact that I think we can make, if you actually want to be part of the solution, I don't think there's any point going out there fighting the cause, fighting the war against terrorism, fighting the war against racism, fighting the war, fighting anything, fighting your shadow is what's actually going on. Because what's happening is we're projecting our ignorant parts of ourselves, the parts of ourselves that we have not yet become conscious of. Right? We've become very linear, very fixed, very blinkered in our perception as a species. I'm speaking now generally of human beings. Well, we've been on the same track for how many hundreds and thousands of years, where it's like we see something, we think it's different, we don't like it, let's fight it, let's kill it, let's torture it, let's pull it apart, let's make it suffer, and thinking that's going to give us some kind of redemption, some kind of win, some kind of change, some kind of revolution. No revolution has actually taken place. We are still coming from that same point of consciousness, creating the same destruction on ourselves, on our species, on our planet, on our children, probably more than ever before. So all of the stories in history about the revolutions that happened for for the people, they cut off somebody's head, they did something new for male and female equanimity or equality or whatever it was. It's like, hold on a minute, those little minute things may have changed, and yes, they are minute in the bigger picture, because look at the inequality that's still happening today. Look at the racism that is still happening today. Look at the hatred, the separation. It's got way more intense. So how did those revolutions make a difference? What did all that fighting, all that protesting do? I don't think it's made any change whatsoever. And rather than getting into a debate and an argument about that, because let's face it, everybody's going to have a different perspective. You probably have a different perspective on that. But we just have to look around and say, is the fighting, is the warring against the thing that we don't like, the thing that's upsetting us, is it working? Are we creating more peace or more division? No, with all the different opinions, we're creating more division, more separation. Like the war of the sexes right now, there isn't just a male and a female anymore. The more we splice it and dice it, the more different variations, the more different versions there are of what used to be just two. And we might say, well, that's freedom of choice, that's inclusivity. We could call it that, or we could call it more separation. It's creating more harm, more war, more fighting, more division, more hatred than ever before. Because we're looking at the issues of the world and our own issues with the same eyes that got us into this mess in the first place. The consciousness hasn't changed. And that consciousness is the belief that we have to take a side. The belief that it is one against the other. It's right against wrong. It's light against the dark. It's good against evil. Every single story you're ever going to hear is about the pit against, or the fight of good against evil, pitting against one another to see which force is in fact the strongest, to see which force is going to win. Who's going to be the villain? Who's going to be the hero? Who's going to be the victim? Who's going to get saved? And it just goes on and on and on. It's just a merry-go-round. And what if all of those stories are actually like a stuck record, where if we continue to look down that same track of, well, there's got to be a villain, there's got to be a victim, there's got to be a hero, there's going to be the dark and hate the dark, and we've got to love the light and love the light, and just choose a side. Pick your winning team, stick to it no matter what, even if your winning team is not winning anymore and it's losing, but you've become super attached and your identity has become super attached to your belief, to your side that you've chosen, to your winning team. And it's like, well, we're scared. I see people terrified of their consciousness changing because so much is invested into it. Just think of somebody with their football team, like Arsenal v Spurs, for instance. And if you've been an Arsenal supporter all your life, and then, Arsenal's not winning anymore, and they haven't won for a really long time, and maybe your best mate starts playing for Spurs, what's going to happen if you suddenly change, and I'm using this as a real simple analogy, you suddenly change to becoming a Spurs supporter? It almost makes every single thing that you ever believed, the fact that basis of your identity, what you believed was right, your loyalty to this team, your whole life was built on that. And if you suddenly just switch sides and you say, okay, I'm not going to believe that anymore, I'm going to believe in Spurs, not Arsenal, for a silly, or not silly, some people really, passionate about this, but it's like, do you see what I'm saying? It's like, it makes a mockery of everything you've believed before. It's like, oh my gosh, maybe that's not true. Like if you suddenly switch and you've been a Christian for 30 years and then suddenly you become a Jew, and it's like, what was those 30 years about then? Does that mean that was all false? You were living a lie, even though you thought you were living the truth, even though as a 30-year Christian, you probably felt super righteous and were trying to convert other people and preach the word of Jesus because you thought that you were right. And then the next thing you know, you've had a change, something's happened. You no longer believe in Christianity, you're now a Jew. What does that make of those 30 years that your life was based on that being the truth? And now suddenly it's not true anymore. It's that kind of seismic shift in consciousness that scares the life out of people. And I'm not saying move from one team to another or one religion to another. What I'm saying is that's an analogy of the level of shift that is needed, but not just a switch from left to right, or from right to left, from good to bad. Which side are you going to support? It's actually more powerful than that. It's more profound than that. It's to see that whichever side we choose, right, left, black, white, light, dark, male, female, binary, non-binary. It's still division. It's still separation. And any separation is going to create conflict until the consciousness shifts to understand that both of these aspects, just like both hands on my body, are connected to the same body and in fact are connected to just the one heart. These hands are an expression of my truth, my heart, my feelings. They're two hands operating individually. They can do totally different things. They can seem like they've got different agendas. This one's my masculine side, this one's my feminine side. I'm more right-handed than I am left-handed, but I do certain things with each one. Each hand is useful. It's not like one of them is wrong. One of them is evil. One of them should be got rid of because the other one is right. That's crazy. That's obviously crazy, but that's what we're doing. We're saying, choose a side, fight for your team, fight for your corner, fight for your religion, fight for your race, fight for whatever, for your political side, which is all complete nonsense. And that's where we're going to find our solution. It's not, guys. It's just creating more war. We don't want a war between our left and our right side of our body, do we? Are we in a war between the hemispheres of our mind? Between this thought and that thought, this belief and that belief, this part of ourselves, that part of ourselves, this part of my identity, this part of my identity? In a war between our heads and our hearts? Our war between our beliefs and what we actually truly need? Can you see the separation in yourself, in each other, just in one being, how separate each human being is in all these different versions of ourselves? Which version of you is good? Which version of you has now been rejected? Which version of you was true 6 months ago, which was your favorite, best version, and you thought that that was your ideal version of you that everyone was going to love? But no, now that version's been scrapped and you've upgraded to a new version and got rid of that one, and it's like, no, now this is the true me. That's crazy. Do you not understand how absolutely crazy that is? That's divide and conquer mentality. That's total destruction of the psyche. That's how to have a complete mental breakdown, is to split yourself into so many pieces that you don't know who you are anymore. And this is a psychological warfare that we're in with ourselves. And do you not understand how much that is actually projected onto the world? Like the psychological warfare that we have going on inside of ourselves, the warfare between our head and our heart, our right and our left, and mum and our dad, and then we're seeing it projected into the world. And the more it's projected into the world, the more then we're impacted by it, and the more we react, and the more divided and split and fractured we become, and confused and upset and traumatized. And then the more that we're traumatized and confused and upset, the more we project that onto this world, and the more it happens there. And it's like we're stuck in this loop, and we need to get out because it's just insane. And how do we do that? We start with something very simple. We start by taking a breath. We start by taking a breath. And I'm going to go into the 4 premises of healing. And these are the foundational principles of how to heal anything. And it's not just something that I've come up with. This is based on universal laws, universal truths, and great minds like Einstein back this information up. Great scientists, great thinkers, great minds. back up this information that in a way we don't really need somebody's backup, even though that's helpful, and we like to believe certain people's points of view and say, well, that must be the truth. If Einstein said it, then it must be true. I believe that we know intrinsically, innately, inherently, deep down, we know what's true. Truth resonates. And if we've got so disconnected from our sense of rightness, our sense of truth, our sense of harmony, reality, then yes, we're going to have a hard job recognizing truth when we see it, and then we're going to want to pick it apart, and we're going to want to have everybody's opinions on it, and go and watch YouTube videos and podcasts on it to see if that's really true. Whatever. I'm talking about these 4 premises of healing that I know for sure and fact are true, not just because I feel it, because I've practiced them for many, many years. And I've taught other people to practice them for themselves and in a way that can help other people. So those people that want to be part of the solution by helping themselves, you might want to go and watch this masterclass and it will give you the tools. However, if you're one of these people, like myself, that knows that there's a solution, that believes with all your heart that there is a way and that a shift in consciousness is needed, that doesn't make a mockery, that isn't so terrible that it makes everything else fall apart, it actually makes everything make sense. It brings cohesion, it brings wholeness, it ends the separation, it ends destruction, it helps harmonize and put the pieces back together. These 4 premises of healing are the missing piece I think that people are looking for. So I've put it together in a short masterclass to make it simple, to lay it out. And if you're somebody that wants to help yourself and make a difference and help others and be a big part of that solution for the world, then please go watch this masterclass. I invite people, once they've watched the masterclass, to get in touch with me, book a call. Let's discuss further. Let me show you how you can actually implement these 4 premises of healing in an incredibly practical and powerful and a very, very profound way indeed, that makes a radical transformation in your own life as well as the lives of others. And I'm super excited about this. It's like, what better mission to be on in life than to be solving the human dilemma, solving the human condition, bringing harmony, bringing peace to everything that's been in pain, suffering and destruction. Please click the link below, go to the masterclass, have a look, book a call with me, let me know what you think. Let's talk about it again. So much love.